Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome. In this video, I'm going to outline the pros and cons of being a digital nomad. We'll cover topics like work, relationships, finances, bureaucracy, quality of life, and more. I've been a digital nomad for about a year and a half now, and I've really enjoyed the lifestyle. That said, I have had to make some compromises and sacrifices, so this life certainly isn't for everyone, but it does have a lot of benefits. So let's get started. The biggest benefit for me is the money savings. If you move from a high cost of living country to a lower cost of living country, you can save thousands of dollars per month. There are many countries where you can live on $1,200 to $1,500 per month. You can rent an apartment on Airbnb for $600 to $800 a month in many countries around the world. You could get by on this budget in places like Southeast Asia, Latin America, Eastern Europe. Over the past year, I spent an average of around $1,500 per month, so you can live really cheaply if you're careful with your finances. Another great way to save money is to establish tax residency in a low tax country. You might be able to reduce your tax burden from 30 to 50% down to 5 to 10%, or even 0% in some cases. Another major benefit is that you can work from anywhere in the world. Really, all you need is your laptop, your phone, and an internet connection. You could work from a hotel in Tokyo, or a library in Mexico City, or a cafe in Paris. These days you can find dedicated co-working spaces in most cities. For a small fee, you can enjoy a dedicated office environment with ergonomic tables and chairs, fast and reliable Wi-Fi, pretty much everything you need to stay productive. You can also really improve your quality of life by becoming a digital nomad. You can move somewhere that suits your personal preference. For example, maybe you're a coffee person. You could move to a coffee country like Guatemala or Colombia and enjoy great coffee every day. Maybe you currently live in a dangerous city. You could move to a country with a low crime rate, or maybe you just love a certain environment. Maybe you're a desert person. You could move to a desert country, like you could move to the Sinai. Maybe you really love a particular cuisine. Maybe you're really into Italian food. You could move to Italy. Personally, I like staying near the beach. Last year, I stayed in Rio for about a month. The apartment I rented was about a 15-minute walk from Copacabana Beach. Just being able to walk down to the beach every evening and take a little stroll on the boardwalk was just so great for my quality of life. I couldn't afford that in my home country, in the US. Another benefit of this lifestyle is the absolute freedom of it. You can choose where you live, where you work, when you work. You don't have a boss looking over your shoulder and micromanaging you. Another major benefit of this lifestyle is that the startup costs are really low. All you really need is your laptop and a phone. Other than that, all you need is your passport and a piece of luggage and some clothes, and then you can be a digital nomad. Another benefit of being a digital nomad is that you can travel as much or as little as you like. If you want to see the world, you can travel fast. You could move to a new destination every week. If you want to slow down a little bit and get to know a place a little more deeply, you could spend a month or two in each destination. I would say on average, most digital nomads spend around 4 to 6 weeks in each destination before moving on. If you want to slow down a little bit, you could also apply for a digital nomad visa. These usually allow you to stay in a country for 6 to 12 months. Sometimes they can be extended as well. Your money can also go a lot further. If you earn in a strong currency like dollars or euros and live in a developing country with a weaker economy and a weaker currency, you can get a lot more bang for your buck. So, for example, if you earn $4,000 a month, you might be considered a middle-class person at home. But if you move to a country where the average income is $1,000 a month, you're suddenly a upper-class person. You earn much more than the average local. You could afford a nice apartment, you could go out to eat, your money would just go a lot further. Living as a digital nomad can also be an educational experience. For example, you could pick up a new language. Many nomads go to Latin America to learn Spanish. You could pick up a new skill. You could take lessons and learn how to surf or ski. You could pick up a new cooking technique. You'll learn about history and culture as you travel and visit museums and different tourist sites. You'll also learn about the economy and the politics and the laws in the countries that you're visiting. Another benefit is that you don't have to deal with office politics. You won't have to attend office parties or events. You won't have a boss looking over your shoulder and micromanaging you. You won't have to work in close quarters with people you don't like. You won't have to listen to office gossip. Nobody will disrupt you while you're working. There's just less drama. As long as you get your work done, nobody's going to bother you. Another benefit of this lifestyle is that you'll have the opportunity to meet a lot of people and make friends. The digital nomad life is pretty social. You're always moving around and interacting with people. You can meet people at co-working spaces. Those are great places to network. You can attend meetup groups and meet other nomads and expats. You could go online dating and meet locals. You're constantly moving around, so every time you go to a new city, you'll meet new groups of people at co-working spaces. You could go to hostels and meet people. You're always having the opportunity to socialize. A lot of different opportunities also pop up while you're living as a digital nomad. For example, you could get residency or citizenship in another country. There are a number of ways to go about that, even with digital nomad visas. You could start a romantic relationship. Maybe you meet someone in your travels. Job opportunities might pop up while you're networking. Investment opportunities could present themselves. Of course, you'll also have the opportunity to travel and see the world and learn a new language if you choose. Living as a digital nomad can also build character and help with your personal development. For example, you'll become more independent. If something goes wrong, you have only yourself to rely on. You'll also become more adaptable. You have to adapt to the local culture and customs. The locals aren't going to change just to accommodate you. You may have to abide by different laws. You may have to change your diet. You may have to wear different clothing in some parts of the world. You'll also become more patient. In a lot of countries, things move slowly due to bureaucracy or inefficiencies. You can become more courageous when you're constantly facing the unknown and facing your fears and going to new places, meeting new people. You might also become more confident. When you're independent and adaptable, you're able to face any situation. Digital nomad life is also inspiring. This is important for creative nomads, such as writers, graphic designers, bloggers, vloggers, marketers. This inspiration can show up in your work. Living and working in a beautiful place can also simply make you more productive, even if you're not working a creative job. Living as a digital nomad also forces you to simplify your life. It doesn't make sense to own a bunch of furniture and clothes and knickknacks on a vehicle. Most nomads end up getting rid of all that stuff before they leave. It's really freeing. There's nothing tying you down. You'll also save money. You won't have a car payment. You won't have to pay for insurance for your stuff. You won't have to pay for storage fees. Also, most stuff is replaceable. When you're ready to settle down, you can just buy new stuff. Now I'm going to go over some of the biggest drawbacks that I experienced while living as a digital nomad. First is loneliness. It is a really lonely lifestyle. Every day you're going to be working alone for maybe 6-8 hours or more. You're not in an office interacting with other people. You're just by yourself, working behind a screen. It's also really lonely when you arrive in a new city. You won't know anybody. You will have no friends, no family around. You'll spend hours by yourself while you're in transit. You might be on a bus for 12 hours. You might have a long flight. It gets really, really lonely. Of course, there are ways to meet people. You can go to meetups and attend events and that kind of thing, but you will spend a significant amount of time alone. Luckily for me, I'm a bit of a loner, so it doesn't bother me too much, but there are times where it gets painful, I can't lie. Another drawback is that digital nomads tend to work long hours. When we imagine this lifestyle, we imagine working, a few hours and then going out sightseeing and having fun. But the reality is most digital nomads are working 7 days a week, 8 hours a day, and just putting in a lot of hours. Of course, that depends on your job, but for me, I have to work every single day for at least 6 hours to accomplish what I need to accomplish. Another important drawback to consider is that you will miss your friends and family. You won't get to see them as often as you're used to. Most digital nomads go home once a year, and that's not very much. The reason is that the cost of airfare is high. It can cost, $1,200, $1,500 for a ticket home. Also the time, they're long flights. I just came home after a year abroad to visit friends and family. I would have liked to have come home sooner, but it just wasn't possible for me. And to build on that, you will also miss major events in the lives of your friends and family. You might miss weddings, childbirths, funerals, birthdays, all these events you're going to miss. You won't be able to build those memories with your loved ones. You'll be missing from the photos when you're looking back when you're older. Life back home won't stop while you're gone. It will continue on. It's kind of sad to think about. Another drawback is that it's really hard to budget when you're a digital nomad, just because your expenses vary so much from month to month. So one month you might be in a cheap country, maybe you're in Argentina and you get by on $1,000 a month. Maybe the next month You go to Spain and you spend $2,000 a month. Maybe your monthly rent goes from $500 in one country, and then the next country it's $1,500. Your transportation budget varies as well. One month maybe you buy an intercontinental airplane ticket for $1,500. So it's hard to plan ahead when your rent is changing from month to month. Your transportation cost is changing from month to month, and then the food cost. Everything varies from country to country, and that makes it very hard to budget. Another drawback I noticed is that I didn't travel nearly as much as I thought I would. It's harder to move around because the travel days are basically lost. When I'm in transit, I can't get as much work done as I would like. It makes me not want to travel quite as much. I'd rather stay in one location longer because it's just so much easier to be productive. When you arrive at a new destination, it takes a little bit of time to develop a routine and get everything set up. I found that it works best to stay in each location for around a month and then move on. That gives me time to get set up, get some work done. I don't think it's really possible to do like a backpacker style of travel while you're working. You just can't get much work done while you're moving around so frequently. I also noticed that it's easy to get burned out while living as a digital nomad. If you're going out sightseeing every day and working a full day and trying to meet people and going out, it's just too much. You can't sustain that. You have to focus on your work and then squeeze in some sightseeing on the side. Another thing I noticed is that the digital nomad lifestyle isn't as affordable as I thought initially. It was a little more expensive than I expected. The cost of travel has increased substantially over the past few years, I noticed. The cost of accommodation is more than I had budgeted initially. The cost of airfare adds up quickly as well. It's easy to go over budget. These are some of the main pros and cons I've noticed after living as a digital nomad for the past year. For a more in-depth analysis of digital nomad life, check out my article linked in the description. Overall, I've really enjoyed living this lifestyle, but there are definitely some drawbacks to consider. Personally, I think the main drawback is just having to move around. It's so exhausting having to pack up and unpack and go to the airport and take transport everywhere. It's really, really tiring. If you're considering the digital nomad lifestyle, I recommend you just give it a try. It's one of those things you really have to try for yourself to see whether or not it's for you. From talking to other nomads, I found that most people really enjoy the lifestyle for the first year or two, but it is really easy to get burned out. A lot of people end up burning out and settling down somewhere, but some people can continue to live nomadically long term. Right now I'm at home visiting some friends and family for about a month, and then I'm going to head to Asia. I'm going to go to Japan and the Philippines and probably Indonesia. That's the plan for now. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and like and subscribe. That will help me out. I've got more videos like this coming. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.